At the first day of the Auto Expo, MG Motor showcased two new cars that are going to come to India very soon. Now both of these are electrified versions. The one you see right next to me is the MG4, which is a fully electric hatchback, whereas the other one is the eHS, which is a plug-in hybrid. So let's get deep down into the details of these cars and find out what's on offer with these two new offerings. So the MG4 is a fully electric hatchback. It is the same size as the MG ZS EV or the Asta. So this is 4.3 meters in length, and that means it looks quite stylish. It has that long stretched look, but it's also low to the ground because it's hatchback, it's not an SUV. Now in terms of what's underneath, well, this has got two battery options. One is a 51 kilowatt hour battery and the other one is a 64 kilowatt hour battery. Now the smaller battery has a range of around 350 kilometers, whereas the big one will give you around 450 kilometers of range. Now in terms of performance, the smaller battery has a motor that's rated at around 170 bhp, whereas the big one produces around 200 bhp. Now the great thing about this car is that it's rear wheel drive, so it is going to be quite sporty to drive. That's what we reckon. Now MG claims this can do 0 to 100 in just 8 seconds and it will have a top speed of 160 kilometers per hour. So all in all, it looks quite impressive, and on paper, it definitely seems like a great proposition. Now let's hop inside and see what's the interior like. As you can see, the interior of the MG4 is also quite spacious and it has got that typical electric car feel. It's minimalistic and there's not a lot of kit, and it's a very plain Jane but very sharp design. At the center, you'll find a 10-inch touchscreen which is quite crisp to use. It is in typical MG fashion. It has got a lot of features packed in, and on the center console you've got this rotary gear lever which is similar to the ZS EV. Now the overall design is also quite revolutionary, and I think it looks a bit like BMWs, like the iX, for instance, this empty area around here. It looks quite good, and there's a great sense of space inside the cabin. The steering is also flat bottom. It again reminds me of the BMW iX, the way it's been designed. It's hexagonal, sort of. And you've also got a 7-inch digital instrument cluster. So overall, a very tidy, a very neat and very minimalistic cabin this car has. At the front, there is a lot of space. These seats are not leather, these are all fabric. And at the back, things look a bit tight. So let's get in there and find out how's the rear space like. So at the back, it is quite spacious, but because it's a rear wheel drive car and the battery pack is mounted low down, well, of course, the floor is a little bit high, so you sit with your knees up, and the seat is also reclined at quite an angle. So I'm not sure how comfortable it's going to be over long journeys, but overall, it is a spacious cabin, and the seat cushioning and the support looks quite decent. So again, we can't comment on it right now. I think it's too early to say. So let's wait for this car to come to the market, and then only we can give you a final verdict on how everything performs in this car. The MG4 is also quite practical because the boot space is also quite decent. It's 363 liters. Again, not that much, but it can fit your luggage for a family outing. The second car that MG showcased is the eHS. This is a plug-in hybrid. Now on offer, of course, this is a much longer car than the MG4. So this is a full-size crossover. It's around 4.4 meters in length, and that means it will fall in the same segment as the Volkswagen Tiguan and the Hyundai Tucson. Now this one, like I said, it's a plug-in hybrid, so it has got a 1.5 liter turbo petrol engine as well as a 90 kilowatt motor. Now this produces around 260 bhp of peak power output, and it can do 0 to 100 in just 7 seconds. Now in terms of design, this doesn't look as sharp or as modern as the MG4. So of course it does feel a little outdated in comparison to other cars that are on the market. So we are not quite sure if MG will bring it in this exact shape or form in India. Maybe it will receive another update before it's launched here, because as per MG, this will come here by the end of the year. So between that time, a lot of things can happen. Now that is it from the outside. The interior is a much nicer place. So let's get inside and see what's on offer there. Now, like the exterior, the interior is also not that revolutionary because it has a lot of typical MG bits. The steering feels much like how it's on the ZS EV or the Asta. Even the AC vents, these turbine AC vents, they're also quite similar. The touchscreen is also more or less the same, and the quality and fit and finish, of course, looks top class. You have got this soft padding over here, and the dashboard also has this soft finish, so it looks quite classy. It looks quite premium for sure. You've also got these brushed aluminum bits around here. So yes, this car feels modern. It feels quite rich in the sense how everything is here. So it feels quite modern, it feels quite upmarket. Everything you touch and feel does feel like a quality item. Now this has got a specific EV mode here, as you can see, and MG claims that it can do around 50 kilometers of range in just EV mode, so that's quite great. The gear lever is quite conventional in that sense, so a lot of conventional bits in this car, but overall I think it's a very nice place to be. Now there are a lot of bits which might need some updates, like for instance it has only got USB-A ports. In this day and age, I think USB Type-C makes more sense. So like I said, this car is definitely due for an update before it comes to India. Now the seats are again very wide and cushiony. They are powered seats, and as you can see, they've got nice contours and nice support. So like I said, everything is well put together and it definitely feels like a quality item. Now in terms of rear seat space, well, let's just hop into the rear bench and find out. At the back, things look quite great here because it has got a lot of space. There is a lot of knee room and there's a lot of leg room as well. The headroom is also adequate, more than adequate I'd say, and the seats are also quite supportive. Plus the fact that it comes with a full glass house, a full panoramic sunroof, well, it gives you a greater sense of space. So even here, if you are going to be chauffeured around, I think this makes a lot of sense. It is quite comfortable, and given the fact that it's an MG, I think the ride quality is going to be up there with the best. So at the back, things definitely look great for this MG. The boot space of the eHS is not that great, but it is quite decent at 448 liters. But for a big size SUV, it does feel a little small. And as you can see, it also has got a high loading limb. So these are the two products that MG showcased at the Auto Expo on day one. What do you think about these? Let us know in the comment section below. And of course, stay tuned to autoX for more Auto Expo related coverage and updates.